Hi, this is Margaret from Margaret's Crafts. I wanted to show you a couple more ideas that I've been playing around with. This is an idea that I used with my old Cricut boxes, the cartridge boxes. I use them for a couple different things. One is I use them for my buttons. Because they have the magnetic close on the buttons, on the cartridge box, my buttons just stay in there and it closes tight. And what I did was I put like a little label on there, and I just put a glue dot to hold the color button that I have. And then I have them in a little shelf. Another idea I did was when I'm working with my Copic markers, I don't like to put them away until I've written down which colors that I use. So then I just stick them in this box and grab them out when I need to reuse them on that same project. And then I write them all down, and they can just stay in here and they're not all over my table. Okay, now I'd like to show you how easy it is to do the boxes. You take a piece of not cardstock. I tried it with cardstock. This one is made with cardstock, and it was very hard to work because it didn't want to bend and flex. You take scrapbooking paper. The piece I used is 12 by 8 3/4. Now to take your box loose, because I take mine loose instead of trying to get it around, I use my tool from my Cricut, and I just stick it along the back of there and just pry it open. And you just keep working your way up to get that part off. This just makes it easier to cover. And then this bottom will come off also. It's not tearing anything, that's just the glue and the paper. If anything comes up, just even it out a little bit so when you glue it back down. Okay, now I just take my paper, and you can use any type of adhesive you want. I just use my ATG gun. And I just put some adhesive all over it, especially on each of the, all around the corners of the edges of it. Just want to make for sure it doesn't pull away. Now I take the top of my box opening and I line it up, try to center it on both sides, and just make sure that goes down good. Then I'll do the next section down. I kind of like lean this part up for the curve. Then I do the bottom curve, and then the last part of the curve. Okay, I got that all down. Then for the edges, I just take my scissors and cut a little triangle off. Okay, then that makes me fold this top in. And I like to use my bone folder to get it down real tight. Then where each fold is on the sides, where it's going to flip in, I just cut to free it up. And then cut a corner out of the bottom. Now we fold up these edges. And I like to press in where it folds at. Then I'll do the other side the same way. And then fold the bottom. Then while you have it all flat, just go over it with the bone folder. And I even like to bend it up and get those edges good. Okay. Now, before I put my bottom on, I like to take, these are the colors of my room, green and pink. It's just little splashes of pink. It's mainly green with the little pink highlight. Then I take my ribbon. I just put a little bit of tape right here to hold my ribbon in place. Hold it in, I center it in between that middle, bring it down, and back up that way. Okay, make sure it's all centered. Now to put the bottom part back in, all you're going to need to do is tape it back down. And on the back side. Okay. Then I just kind of lift the back up here to see where it goes. So I have it back far enough and kind of center it back in its place. Okay, and I push the back on and then push the bottom down. Make sure it's all back in its place again. Close my box up and then I kind of like rub it real good on the table. I rub it on the edge of the table to get the bottom to go down nice and flat. And it closes right up. We really didn't put any tape over the magnets. or any paper over the magnets. So the magnets will close up just like they did before and stay closed. Now I'm just going to make a little bow. I don't know if you guys have seen this on a different YouTube video about how to make a bow. This is a spatula I got from the dollar store. I had my husband just chop the top off because you need something with prongs in between. So he just chopped the top of it off, and this is how you make a perfect bow every time. You put your ribbon across. It depends on how big you want your bow to be. You have the longer piece at the top. If you can see this, I have them. I'm going to use the 4 middle ones in the middle. Then you put your ribbon off centered. You have the longer piece at the top. Put it over the bottom piece, through the center hole, and back up. Once you go through the center hole, make for sure you have it nice and flat. See how I'm bringing it up flat? And now you take your 2 ends and you tie a knot. I'm sorry, but I don't remember which YouTube video that I saw it on, but it's out there, and I thank her for this because I have been making bows on everything ever since. You tie a nice knot, slide it off, flip it over, and there's your perfect bow. You can even make the bow that the sides stick out that way. For this project, I want my bow to be down. Now I want to put my bow up there, so I'm going to take some more. I use my ATG gun and just go along the ribbon, the sides of the ribbon. And I have it sitting about right there. There's my bow, and I'll trim up. Now I use tags, bags, boxes, and more, and I made some little round tags. And what I do is, I started off, I wrote on it, and I didn't really like the way that looked. So now I just take some adhesive, and I put it, the little top of the tag, slightly under there, and I have the little part of the ribbon coming down, and I have it like at an angle. And then for whatever color buttons I'm going to use, so say I'll use these pink buttons in here. Okay, I'll pour my pink buttons in there. And pour the rest of the pink buttons in there. Now I want to just find a very small pink button, like this one's very small. Close it up. I'll use one of the Elmer's glue dots. Now put it on there. And on my side, right in the center of my tag, I'll put the button, the little tiny button. Now, as you can see, I have several of these done. I have some done in pink also. And I'm just, if you want to see what color buttons are in there, there's the button sitting right on the outside. The buttons are sit on the outside, and these sit on a shelf just like that. Okay, and I also took the label off, but I can just do that later. And I have those sitting on the shelf for the ones that's with the buttons in. Like I can just look and see that there's a green button in there. And this is all my green buttons. This one has a blue button in there. And this has all my blue buttons. And now the pink buttons in there. And this houses all my pink buttons. And I have them sitting on the shelf just like that. Okay, now another idea I saw everybody making these squash books or squish books. I don't know exactly. I think they're called smash books. Well, I really didn't want a smash book, but I wanted an idea book. So what I did was I just made the same concept. I took cardstock and in different colors. Well, I used my white for my dividers. I used a piece of chipboard and I covered it with my green because I told you my room is green with the pink accents. And these are the flowers that I had made in an earlier video. Then I just put a Martha Stewart punch on the edge just to accent the edge of the page. I used my Bind It All to make my my book, and this book is, I used the 1-inch thick Bind It All, and then I use white cardstock to make my page dividers, my section dividers. And what I did was on the Cricut, and I think in my kitchen I used made the labels for them. And I just made different labels of, this is my idea book. If I see any ideas for storage, I've been going through a lot of my old magazines and pulling things in here. Any idea for storage that I find that I like, that I may want to, you know, change my room up to one day, I'll put it in here. For my craft room, any type of ideas that I like for my craft room, I put in this section for craft rooms, and then I would make little notes. I would make little notes about what my ideas were to go with that area. And then in my scrapbook, then I have a section called scrapbooking. If I saw any really cute scrapbooking pages that I thought I would want to repeat, I just cut the picture out and I put it in this section. And I could write on there what I like the best about them. And then I have, you know, there's still room for smaller. And then in my card making section, I have a section for card making. I went through my books and I saw some cards that I really liked, and then I would put notes about making the cards. And this card right here, oh, excuse me, I bumped the camera. This card right here had instructions on how to make it. So I just put a little note that the instructions for this card here is in my notes section. So I cut it out and I put it under my notes, and I put the name of it to go with this card. And then this card is for my craft section. And any crafts that I saw that, you know, oh, one day I'd like to try to make that. This is a diaper cake. And then I put that, you know, see how to make the diaper cake on YouTube, because that's where I saw how to make some diaper cakes. And like I said, notes, any ideas that I have or that I've, now this is just plain computer paper. So I can take notes that I saw on something or I had an idea about. I can put the notes there. And then this section right here is my wish list. These are some things that I thought that I would like to have one day. Some new tools. And I have one more section that I didn't put the label in because I just need like, you know, just maybe 2 pages. And I just thought about it. So I want to put the last label, the last section with addresses for websites that I've seen, or I want to go see stuff at, or I saw stuff at, and put what I saw at that website. I want to put in this section. So this is what I call my idea book. And I just keep this at my desk. This doesn't go anywhere with me. So I was able to put the flowers and the leaves and the different things on that I know won't get messed up. And I saw this pretty poem that I had on a sticker, and so I wanted to put that in the front of it. And this is just where I'll keep all my ideas in. So I'm going to go back through a lot of my old scrapbooks and card making books, and I want to pull out those pages that I like and put them in here, and this also will go on a shelf. Those are my ideas for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you.